Today we're reviewing the Onewheel Pint X. So the Onewheel Pint X, first impression, I felt very unsafe at first. And I think that's only because I don't have much experience with a skateboard, let alone a one wheel. So there was kind of a learning curve there that I think people who have owned a skateboard before would probably have an easier time on this thing than someone who's just newly getting into it. I think overall it's pretty safe when you're going at moderate speeds, which is my next point. Speed. This thing can get away from you. I almost got the GT because I thought, oh, that thing goes 30 miles an hour, the battery life on it. It might be a bit much for a beginner. I mean, 30 miles an hour is a lot. I have not maxed this thing out yet, and I haven't even had this thing like a week yet. And the grip tape came off on it. No! No! Craft and ride. What the heck? I need you to hook your boy up with a new rail guard, because how is this thing already falling off? I got those from Craft and Ride, and also put float plates on the bottom just because I didn't want it to get all scraped up and nasty. And I heard that it protects the battery somehow because it's in the bottom compartment. The highest speed I've gotten this Onewheel to has been 17 miles an hour, and that felt ridiculously fast. Trying to make a video. So I couldn't imagine what 30 miles an hour feels like. And once you start getting up to the top speed of your board, it starts to push back on you and can send you flying. So I think I'm comfortable cruising at about 12 to 15 miles an hour. I don't intend to max this thing out at any point. So how does it do uphill and downhill? Well, let me show you. So if you look there, I went downhill very controlled and I came uphill very fast. I did that on purpose to show you that the motor seemed to handle every situation pretty well. And another thing I want to add is the weather sealing. It has great weather sealing. I took this thing on the wet beach, got it all nasty and dirty, and it still works great. I've had no problems with that. So I don't recommend you take it into large bodies of water very often, but if you happen to get it wet, it'll be fine. My beginner tip for anyone who's starting out on this thing is figure out your adequate foot placement, because the more comfortable you get on the board, the less accidents you're prone to. I saw this chart that it was like the 60-40 rule of like putting 40% of your weight forward and then 60% of it back, or maybe the other way around, whatever. That will keep you from getting the wobbles, which is something a lot of people run into at first, and it's just part of the process. You have to just get comfortable with it. You need to know before buying this thing up front that you're gonna fall. It's inevitable. Like I almost did just now. You're gonna fall, which is why you need to make sure you got this thing on. So where can you take this board? It pretty much can go anywhere. It's just how comfortable you are with that type of ground. Like I've taken this thing on bridges, sand, gravel, which didn't feel so stable, pavement, felt great, grass, it's a little tricky depending on how the divots and the ground is set up, but it's all in what you're comfortable with. Oh, and the app, it's super easy to use. I've logged 56 miles so far, and I've had this thing about 9 days. Yeah, I mean, I'm down at 25%. But yeah, the app is super easy to use. I have been setting it on Pacific just because I didn't want to be limited to the 12 miles an hour, risking topping at like 10 to 12. I definitely don't want to get launched at those speeds. So the battery life on this thing, I maybe ran it down to like 46% after riding it for like 2 to 3 hours on one day, and I feel like that's pretty good. I mean, I don't think, unless you're using this for commuting around the city, I don't think that anyone is gonna drain the battery as fast as they think they are. So I think the Pint X is really, really good for a beginner. You could go conservative and go with the Pint if you want to spend less money, but I feel like if you're already spending $1,000 on a board, why not just go for the price tag of $1,500 and just get the upgrade? Should I do it? Should I do it?